even think that Hollywood could have scripted a better start to Joe Musgrove's San Diego career. If you have no idea who Joe Musgrove is, he was just traded from the Pirates to the Padres, so he went back home. Joe Musgrove grew up in San Diego as a Padres fan. You can see him, I don't know if this was in high school holding an award, but he was with Adrian Gonzalez, the former superstar first baseman for the Padres. But the fact that he threw a no-hitter, the first no-hitter in Padres history as he was coming home in his second ever start, I mean, dang, Steven Spielberg has got to be jealous of that script. What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have so much to talk about aside from Joe Musgrove pretty much making history and throwing his first ever no-hitter in his home uniform. You gotta absolutely love it. I mean, if you don't love the game of baseball, I mean, what are we really doing? It's the most romantic sport that you can think of. We also have the Dodgers getting their rings. This was so fun to watch because Clayton Kershaw looked like a kid in a candy store. I'm so happy for him. And then also Ronald Acuna Jr. pretty much single-handedly won the game yesterday for the Atlanta Braves. So we're gonna go ahead and recap that game. But first and foremost, speaking of Ronald Acuna, a fan of the Braves was trying to troll Bryce Harper, saying that, hey, you're never gonna be as good as Acuna. Who's Acuna? And Bryce Harper reminded him that it's not Acuna, it's Acuna. Check this out.
You'll never be as good as Acuna. You can try as hard as you want. You'll never be as good as...
It's Acuna. He's now correcting the fan. Acuna. It's not Acuna, it's Acuna. Looking like Hermione, it's Leviosa. Even if you don't like Bryce Harper, you have to think that's pretty funny because he didn't really take offense to that. He could have said, yo, I won an MVP at 22 years old. What has Ronald Acuna Jr. done? But instead he takes the high road, he takes the funny approach. Acuna. I thought that was funny. Now, fans were not done heckling players. The Astros fan base booed Ramon Laureano heavily. If you don't remember, in 2020, Ramon took on the entire Astros organization. He was hit 3 different times in the span of 2 games, so he was upset, and rightfully so. So he charged the entire dugout. Now, unfortunately for Ramon, later on in the game, he was also cup checked. We'll talk about some injuries later on in the video. Luckily, he was able to get through this. He took his base, and everything was fine in the world. Lance McCullers and Sean Manaea, they kept it close until the 6th inning, but then the Astros bullpen said, you know what, we're tired, we just want to go home and play Warzone, we're going to take the night off. As they imploded, they allowed the A's to erupt in the last 4 innings as Matt Olson hits an absolute bomb, a 3-run bomb, I believe, and the A's get their 2nd win of the season. Good for them. So I told you guys I was going to talk about some injury updates, and we're going to do that right now. Starting off with Dexter Fowler, there was a scary moment in which his knee kind of buckled in yesterday's Angels versus Blue Jays game. He was carted off the field. I thought it was going to be an ACL injury, but fortunately for him, it was just a contusion. The Angels demolished the Blue Jays yesterday, led by Shohei Ohtani and Jared Walsh. They combined to have 6 RBIs. Mike Trout had 2 base hits, so his batting average is now sitting at 429. The Angels offense, I'm going to say this right now, this could be a hot take or an overreaction. They are the most fun offense to watch when Shohei Ohtani is healthy. And also when you combine Jared Walsh and Mike Trout doing their thing. We didn't even talk about Anthony Rendon. Anthony Rendon is one of the best hitters in all of baseball. So I'm going to say this right now. I love the Angels' chance of making the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and knock on some wood. You also have defensive help from David Fletcher, who is one of the best contact hitters in baseball. Andrew Heaney was electric yesterday, 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. When the Angels play like this and the bullpen holds it like they did a few days ago, I'm not saying that they're going to win the World Series, but they can definitely be a playoff contender. And going forward into 2022, if they can add 1 or 2 more solid starting pitchers, they're going to be a problem. Another injury that I wanted to discuss, Aaron Judge has missed the last few days with general soreness, so he is getting dragged by Yankees fans and also the old heads that said, hey, I just took ibuprofen, I didn't even feel pain, I just played through soreness. So he is definitely getting clowned on. However, I will say Aaron Judge has been known to be injury prone, so I don't understand why this is any different. Now, he is in the lineup today, so I think he's going to be back in business, but then Aaron Boone, during an interview before today's game, said this.
Would you consider him right now injured?
That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that because.
Okay, that's fair.
And if I answer yes or no, it's going to be conflated a lot of different ways. So I don't have him in the lineup today. I feel like he could probably play today.
You're the manager of the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge is your best player, and you don't know if he has an injury or not. So the best way that I can really summarize this is that maybe he got the COVID shot and then he's having general soreness, because Gio Urshela also missed the game for that same reason. So maybe that's a cause to pause. I don't know, but Aaron Boone saying, I don't know. Not good. Speaking of not good, we can pretty much summarize the Yankee game as exactly that. If you're a Yankees fan, now if you're a Rays fan, yesterday was a Cloud9 moment because you absolutely dominated them. Now the Yankees did try to make a comeback, but Corey Kluber was not great. Even Rich Hill, the starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays, he wasn't his best self either, but the Yankees defense continues to struggle as the Rays took advantage of that. So you just have to take your hat off. Randy Arozarena is coming to play. Austin Meadows is showing up every now and then. And even though I don't think that the Rays are going to be World Series favorites, they can still show up with some of the best teams in baseball. As long as their starting pitching holds, they can probably be an 85 to maybe 87 win team, but that's just my opinion. All right, the moment that you've all been waiting for, Joe Musgrove with the first ever no-hitter in Padres history, and he missed a perfect game by one single batter. He actually hit Joey Gallo earlier on in the game. Otherwise, he would have actually thrown a perfect game. The Padres were the last team in Major League Baseball to not have a no-hitter, so this was a really fun moment, not only for Joe Musgrove because he's from San Diego, but because they were the final team that needed one, and they can finally check that off their list. Now, I also want to show this tweet. A fan predicted this about 5 hours before the game. I believe his name is Sully Baseball. I'm going to go ahead and shout him out. He predicted that Musgrove was going to throw the first ever Padres no-hitter, and man, I'm going to have to hire that guy to make some picks for me because that's legendary. The LA Dodgers finally got their rings yesterday, and might I say they are beautiful. They have diamonds on top of a diamond baseball diamond. So they made a baseball field out of diamonds, called a baseball diamond. We saw Clayton Kershaw smiling like it was Christmas Day. We have Joe Kelly showing off his ring with his infamous Carlos Correa troll face as he was frowning. Walker Buehler showed up as well as the bullpen. They go 9 innings of scoreless pitching, only allowed 4 hits on 10 strikeouts. Corey Knebel might be the new closer going forward because he has electric stuff, and you kind of need that if you want to be a dominant closing pitcher. I truly believe that they're still going to give Kenley Jansen a chance, but luckily for them, Justin Turner had the one lone home run yesterday, which is all that the staff needed. Like I said, 9 scoreless innings. Now, I do also want to update you guys on what I said yesterday about Trevor Bauer being singled out by Ken Rosenthal and Major League Baseball, because we all saw John Means literally touching his glove like, I got to get this sticky stuff on my fingers, otherwise I'm not going to be able to pitch. And guess what? Trevor Bauer was the only one that was written about. Dave Roberts came out and confirmed that. I'm not crazy. I'm not fanboying or protecting my friend. They are literally doing that, confirmed by Dave Roberts. He says that Trevor Bauer is being singled out, and that is 100% true. You could completely hate Trevor Bauer, and I understand why, but in this case, you have to say that MLB is not being fair. Jesse Winker returned to the Cincinnati Reds lineup yesterday, so they're about to get even more dangerous. He goes 3 for 3 in his 2021 debut, and I have to humbly say, as a Cleveland fan who watched Tyler Naquin play for a few years,
can we drug test this man immediately?
Someone needs to go take his piss and test it. The reason why I say that is because he hit his 5th home run of the season. The #1 guy in all of baseball for home runs is Tyler Naquin. I fully expected to be trolled by Lindor fans going into this season. I didn't think in a million years that I would be trolled by Tyler Naquin fans. So it's just a crazy start to the season. Tyler Mahle, I want to shout him out. So far in 9 innings to start 2021, he has 15 strikeouts. Tyler Mahle is secretly an ace for half of Major League Baseball. Tucker Barnhart drove in his 2nd RBI of the day in the 10th inning, and that gave the Reds a W. So let me know in the comment section down below, do we think that the Reds are going to be able to keep this up for the entire season? Because just a year ago, they were very disappointing. The Giants game was pretty quiet for the first 6 innings, and that was because Johnny Cueto was sailing through, but the offense finally woke up in the 7th and 8th inning as Cueto, his outstanding start, fell just 1 out from a complete game. He goes 8 2/3. Is Johnny Cueto on a Hall of Fame career? I'm going to go ahead and throw up his stats right now, and maybe he is. I believe that Zach Greinke is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I believe that Joey Votto is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Both of those guys don't have the 300 wins, or Joey Votto is not going to be in the 3,000 hit club, but Johnny Cueto has been good for almost a decade and a half. Do we think he has the chance? Let me know. Franmil Reyes, the Franimal, absolutely destroys the Detroit Tigers, and Zach Plesac needs to be talked about more as one of the more underrated pitchers in baseball. In his last 70 innings, Zach Plesac has a combined 2.11 ERA and a 3.14 FIP. Both of those are elite numbers. You have to tip your cap, even if you don't like him. A lot of people don't like Mike Clevenger, Trevor Bauer, Bryce Harper, Zach Plesac because of things that they've done on the field and off the field, so you don't like them as people, and that's your opinion. I have no reason to judge that, and I'll leave it up to you guys. But he is definitely an above average to borderline elite pitcher, and the Indians' starting rotation so far has held opponents to a league best 177 batting average. So yeah, like I said before the season started, when MLB ranked them as the 15th best rotation or something stupid like that, no, they're in the top 5. And then last but not least, like I mentioned in the intro, Acuna basically took over yesterday's game single-handedly. He had 4 base hits, including a prodigious home run. He also factored in a web gem, and then Freddie Freeman, Mr. MV Free, goes yard, as well as Charlie Morton goes 6 innings, 1 earned run, and 7 strikeouts. He wasn't very good in his debut for the Braves, but that pretty much does it for today's MLB recap. We talked about a lot. The Dodgers got the ring. Musgrove with the first ever no-hitter in Padres franchise history. We have the Angels and the Unicorn Shohei Ohtani doing things that you're not supposed to do. And I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my favorite recaps of the year. It was just a lot of fun to make, a lot of good stats that we talked about. The Yankees are being a little bit weird though with their injuries, so yeah, we definitely got to call them out. They need a new training staff because it seems like every other day someone's injured. But thank you all so much for watching. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like if you enjoyed today's video. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for yet another MLB recap.
Trouble starts in the 5th or 6th inning.
Hit hard to left field. Bragg going back, still going, gone. Ken Griffey Jr. has just hit his 400th career home run. So the youngest to 400 all time, 30 years, 141 days.